Next, Obi-Wan Kenobi knees.
Alright, here we fucking go.
Kenobi, Hayden Christensen himself is returning as Darth Vader.
That's the element I was on about earlier that had me the most excited.
Series is directed by Deborah Chow, who helmed memorable episodes of Mandalorian Season 1. Hayden, my boy,
let's do Obi-Wan first. This show's gonna be awesome. But it's also a show I'm worried for as well. Kind of similar Ahsoka kind of scenario. Like, I just don't know what they're gonna do with this story. And now that they're having Vader in, I'm kind of concerned with like, okay, what about the beginning? What about A New Hope, where it's like, they meet.
Yeah,
I hope they don't meet.
I think Ewan has said that him and Hayden will sort of clash, and maybe he's not going to spend all his time on Tatooine. Like, he'll probably leave the planet for a bit.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
But like, not too long.
I believe that Vader and Obi-Wan should not meet prior to A New Hope. And
Agreed.
Gonna happen if this is gonna happen in any way, if we're going to get like any kind of reinterpretation of Obi-Wan versus Vader, then you know how like Tatooine is apparently a planet that's strong with the dark side. It's why Obi-Wan kind of aged so badly, and it was also kind of it's how he hid so well, because I don't know if this is canon or legends at this point. But I believe like the logic of the hiding place was that Yoda and Dagobah and Obi-Wan on Tatooine is that these two planets are really strong with the dark side, and it hid, and it kind of drowned out the kind of light of these characters, so that the Emperor and Vader couldn't find them.
I certainly believe that in terms of Dagobah, but I thought the reason Obi-Wan aged so rapidly on Tatooine is just because he's under 2 suns. That really messes with your physical health and everything.
It also kind of makes me laugh as well that, like, Vader's so retarded that he was going to be like, you know what? I was born on Tatooine. I might go check that place out, see if Obi-Wan is there.
My thought on that was because he hated the place. Why would he go back there? It's a place of such torment and sorrow, and
that is backed up by Legends material.
I remember watching someone online who made a joke about Darth Vader has explicitly told the rest of the Empire that he's not to be put on a planet with sand.
He's so petty that he's like,
It's like, no sand. No sand. That's why Vader's not on the planet in Rogue One, because there's sand.
There you go.
The problem with that, though, is that canonically, after like the events of A New Hope, he goes down to Tatooine. He does set foot on the planet, and he checks out Obi-Wan's hut, and he checks out the Lars homestead, and like he goes down there like a couple of times.
Does he?
Oh, yeah. No. My guess as to what this series is going to entail, then, imagine, for instance, say an Inquisitor goes to Tatooine and comes across this little 10-year-old kid who's strong in the Force, and Obi-Wan panics and he tries to defend Luke from this Inquisitor, and then the Inquisitor is like, well, there's a Jedi here, best go report that to Daddy Old Vader, off I go into space. And Obi-Wan's like, crap, best I go chase his ass and kill him, and then maybe you'll come into contact briefly with Vader along the way.
The thing that people were talking about within specific reference to Hayden being back is that maybe he interacts with Obi-Wan in sort of flashback rather than...
Yeah, I've heard that one too.
Something would have to instigate it, though. You can't just have a random flashback for the sake of it.
I mean, there's also the thing that Hayden is explicitly being cast as Darth Vader and not Anakin. It implies that because there was because at the panel, which was showed exclusive artwork, there were reports that there was concept art of what looked like Order 66. So Hayden is there's a strong possibility that Hayden is going to be playing Darth Vader during the events of Order 66 before his fight with Obi-Wan.
But Kathleen also did say in that presentation that it was going to be the rematch of the century, heavily indicating that they are going to meet and they are going to fight.
I'm very disappointed if that happens.
That if we are to get a Vader versus Obi-Wan, or however that plays out, I think that it should be a Force cave vision, like with Luke versus Vader on Dagobah, because it would let the writers play around with it a lot more. It would let them do more with Vader that isn't limited by canon, and it would just be because, like, by the sounds of it, the series is going to be Obi-Wan kind of psychologically dealing with all this. It would just kind of line up a bit better with the overall themes of it.
I'm going to throw a stone in the other pond quickly and defend the idea of them meeting again by citing a few examples of precedent. So, in Return of the Jedi, when Luke is saying to Vader, there is still good in you, you can be turned back, come with me, Vader goes to him and says, Obi-Wan once fought as you do. Now, if you look at the films on their own, no, he didn't. Obi-Wan was very much like only Sith deals in absolutes. You can also say that in A New Hope, when Vader says to him, when I left you, I was but the learner, now I am the master. You know, like, you could say that they had met again in the time being. He was still learning the dark side, but now he's mastered it. And then finally, what I will say is that in Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin and Dooku meet, he tells him that my powers have doubled since we last met, Count. In the time, it was meaning Attack of the Clones. Yet how many times did they meet in the Clone Wars? Retroactive continuity, people.
I'm
True.
being honest, it would be shit, because I think it just diminishes what happened with the original chronology of it.
I will be happy if it happens like in a metaphysical sense, whether it be like a Kylo versus Luke style thing, or a Dagobah cave nightmare thing. I just do not. Despite, like, I mean, I think that you've got a point, Lawrence, saying that it's not that there's no precedent for it, but I think, like I say, it takes away from their meeting in episode 4.
Like, even though it's a huge moment, I feel like that's something that's easily not retconnable because people remember it so well, but like there's other ways to tie into it without, as Lawrence sort of maybe suggested earlier, like there's easy ways for you to still keep that as it is but add more to it. Me personally, I would like to see Vader and Obi-Wan meet, if only to sort of give Hayden and Ewan another interaction together as with those actors, because like Hayden and Ewan in Revenge of the Sith is some of the best like relationship and character arc stuff, and like Ewan's performance in Revenge of the Sith and Hayden's as well is like some of the best out of the prequels.
Just kind of flipping camps for a second into the precedent side of things, I suppose there is the question of like I said, in Legends we have an answer to this, but in canon we do not know how Obi-Wan figured out that Anakin had even, like, Vader was even alive. Because by the time we get to episode 4, he seems to know of Vader pretty well, like right down to the point of he's now. So I suppose there is precedent on the side of how did he find out about that, especially considering that in canon Vader's existence is a lot more secretive in comparison to his Legends counterpart.
So very quickly, how would we rank interests as we were doing?
This is above Ahsoka for me.
For me as well, I'd say
10 dismembered chosen ones out of 10.
And Lawrence?
Yeah, I think at the moment Kenobi is top, Ahsoka second, Andor third, and Rangers fourth.
Yeah.